Welcome, dear all, to twitch.tv/Wensleydale Cheddar. This is Stammer Stream, manga podcast and speech therapy combined. I'm your stammering host, Wensleydale Cheddar, here alongside your non-stammering host, Hovin with an H, and Greil 9, the usurper!
Yes, I have taken over this podcast, and we no longer need you. You can leave now.
I mean, how dare you, sir? How dare you take over recording of the podcast while I was so dreadfully busy and could not possibly have done so myself? This is so very considerate, I mean evil of you to have claimed what is rightfully mine, and I am ever so grateful, by which I mean horrified, that you could fill in for me in my absence. But now I am here to reclaim my throne.
Help, Wensleydale. He threw me in the gulag.
I have a gulag? Oh, I didn't even know that.
And how could you, Hovin, and the rest who have, I suppose, hidden away from my rightful rage, how could you so easily accept his rule? I'm asking you.
He had salty Fire Emblem opinions and trading cards. It was hard to fend off.
Well then, Greil, what do you have to say for yourself?
I have molded this podcast into my own image. It is no longer the podcast you left behind. I picked up the pieces you discarded and created an empire, which is one podcast, but still an empire. Now, you are no longer needed. If you wish to reclaim it, we shall meet on the battlefield. Prepare the crossfire board.
I'll just go heat up some popcorn now.
Don't make me laugh. You couldn't defeat my magnificence even if you tried. I have come prepared. Did you forget that I am an expert botanist? You see, this apple I'm holding right now, and that you can't see right now, but people watching this on YouTube will be able to see. This apple is not an ordinary fruit. It's from a certain species found in the ground line that I have planted all over Finland. One bite will cause a chain reaction that may blow up your entire country.
So, in order to get back your podcast, you're going to destroy a nation.
I have done the genocide route of Undertale, so I suppose yes, I am capable of it.
Well, you certainly are, you heartless monster. I mean, genociding a real-life nation, that's one thing, but killing everyone in Undertale, even Papyrus?
I know, they're so precious.
Monster.
I know they're so precious, and I destroyed them.
However, you may have genocided this nation, but my board of crossfire still stands. I am master of the steel balls. You will never beat me at my own game.
Well, I
wait,
suppose...
one of the shooting thingies is actually broken, so yeah, well, make that your side so only I can fire. That seems fair.
Well, I suppose now we are at an impasse. So instead of destroying each other, let's talk about manga for a little while.
I suppose I shall grant you that mercy. The last moment with your
I had my whole new segment of the Danganronpa cast all ready to go.
Oh, good. Danganronpa.
So in my thirst for more, I went back and have started properly playing the first game now, and yeah, it's a lot easier than the second game.
Well, at least for me it would be, since I already know who done it in every case.
That's the thing. Like, I remember the first few cases very vividly, but the second half of it is a little hazier in my mind, so I'm actually having to work things out now.
I think you might have just defeated me by talking about Danganronpa. I really need to play this game sometime.
I think you'd enjoy it.
There are more Danganronpa hosts than those who haven't played it, so we outnumber you.
Yeah, fair.
I could particularly see you enjoying the cast of the second game, Wensleydale.
Okay. And in
Yeah,
a
it has a pervert chef who's bisexual.
Hovin, you in turn need to play Undertale, okay?
Okay, I got it installed, so I can do it anytime.
All right then. So in any case, let's talk about One Piece, chapter 878.
Oh my god, this chapter was so awesome and cool. This is basically my thoughts on it.
It was a little hard to read at times, but yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So we're still on the same page that there is no way Pedro isn't coming back to the story, right? I mean, we still haven't seen the body, so he's not dead.
Yeah.
Actually, pretty hard to tell. I think there is a chance he might be, but somehow I don't think, since even Peril Sparrow wasn't dead by that blast.
Yeah, I mean, he had so his candy armor was destroyed. I don't suppose. Okay, if it was destroyed, then I have no answer for it. But if it wasn't, then I suppose someone could have even used an impact dial to absorb the blow. So there really is a way for someone to escape explosion in One Piece.
Well, even if he did escape, he's now surrounded by Big Mom's army with Sunny flying off.
Yeah, but he's not the only one surrounded. There is also Luffy.
Yeah, that was pretty badass by figuring, okay, I'm grabbing this guy for a one-on-one fight where I'm not sure what his goal is, and actually looking at this, is it just me or did Peril Sparrow lose an arm? Page
I can't see
16,
it right
I
now.
think.
You do see, like, the silhouette is kind of a stub there. Oh yeah, he did lose an arm. Yikes.
Ooh, all right then. Brutal.
Yeah.
I'm still glad that it's not that at least it's not Sparrow's exit from the story, since he is kind of an intriguing character with a cool design.
And just in general, it's always nice when Oda can pull out a chapter that really showcases Luffy's strength as a captain, because a lot of the time he is, played for laughs because he is a very silly character. So when he gets these moments like this, it's very gratifying.
Yeah, I love when Luffy's shouting these things that are making him very charismatic again,
Just like yelling out, "I'm the captain of his ship" while
Yeah.
he's defending Kara, and like, "Don't let Pedro's sacrifice be in vain" and shit.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of which, if this is how Pedro goes on, even if I don't think that's how it is, I'm perfectly fine with that. I guess he does give Luffy the motivation to stay behind and fight Katakuri for some reason. And it also makes Carrot's storyline more interesting, since I think this may be the first time since Zoe that we've seen some other emotion from her, or other than whoop-de-doop-de-doo, I'm going on an adventure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still not sure why Luffy exactly chose to fight Katakuri, because they're getting away. If he just smashed the mirror and tossed Katakuri in or something, this fight would be over.
Yeah, it's kind of weird since I mean, I get the reasoning out of universe that it'll be interesting for Luffy to fight someone with a very similar power to his, but I don't exactly get the motivation other than okay, maybe either this is so that Pedro's sacrifice won't be in vain, and I need to let my crew escape. But
I'm pretty sure they could escape anyway, and he even destroys his way back. So
I
how's
think he
going
just wants to
get
make
back to Sunny?
Yeah, that is a good question. Maybe he'll get back to wherever Sanji ends up. Like he'll use.
That's right. Sanji is still on the island, so
Yeah, he could use what's the mirror lady's name?
Brule.
Brule.
He could use Brule to try and find out where Sanji is on the island. Get to him.
That's interesting, though. I'm not exactly sure. Just a minute. Coming back to Pedro, if he dies and we get and we get a lovely reunion between Sanji and between Luffy's crew and Big Mom, because I've seen theorized that since he's gonna be making a cake for her, that means that eventually Big Mom may forgive them. But now Pedro's death being thrown into the mix, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to turn out.
I think aside from that, I do just want to comment on the fact that it's so like quintessential One Piece to me. The fact that the cool, badass sort of antagonistic character to Luffy in this arc, at least in terms of a direct fighting opponent, has the ability to morph into Mochi and flick jelly beans at people at bullet-fast speeds. Like that's his power set.
Yeah, it's great. It's also another another instance after Enies Lobby that Luffy's fighting the dragon of the crew and not, not the primary antagonist.
I was thinking of Lucci as well. Yes.
Yeah. Also, that final two panels with Katakuri and Luffy facing one another, that's fucking badass with their faces shaded. I mean, you don't often see Luffy in that serious mode.
I think the last time we saw something that was like kind of close was just when it was during Dressrosa when he blocked Doflamingo as he was trying to stamp on Law, sort of blocked him with his foot. Even then, I don't think like that it was quite as an intense a look. It was more just a cool motion.
I don't really have anything else to say apart from this is really cool action and Luffy's cool and everything's cool.
Yeah. Shall we move on to Food Wars then?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's chapter 231.
Full throttle. And I gotta say, this is a lovely cover page with all the men posing, with all the muscle men, like, why do I not remember any of their names all of a sudden?
Nice.
Mimi Saka, I don't remember the other two.
Was it Subaru?
And Some.
Subaru is Mimi Saka.
No, wait, yeah. Megashima, yeah.
Megashima, Subaru, and Some.
There we go.
Yeah, all the muscle men posing in Speedos.
Nice.
All
Give
the
the
Barra
ladies
boys.
something to once in a while.
To
More
be
men
fair-
inclined into that direction.
To be fair, guys, we do have a lot of Manservice this week. I mean, have you made... I know that you guys don't follow it regularly, but have you read this week of Robot Laserbeam, our favorite
No, I don't
manga?
read that series. I read it like 5 chapters, thought this is fucking boring, and tossed it out.
Yeah, though this is the bathhouse chapter, so yeah. And also,
Well, it is the same mangaka as Kuroko's Basketball, so that figures.
yeah. And we also have, and in the Promised Neverland, we have a lot of child pornography this week for some reason. So, yeah.
But I do like that it starts by the first years thinking like, okay, this is how we could do in a team, so we can help one another.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, last round we had Mimisaka give Kuga some assistance, but it seems like these guys are going to help one another the whole way through into every direction.
Yeah, they're really taking advantage of the fact that it's a team battle.
Yeah,
Or is it at least you can 3 at once?
I also like how everyone's surprised that in a team competition, Soma's group is going to act like a team?
A team?
What sort of madness is that? Yes, a
It's like
team
using
competition!
chicken stock.
Yeah, but then again, like, it's not always that easy to help one when they're cooking, especially since they have to think of their own recipe.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys have practiced to work as a team in a cooking, since they all have to do their individual dish still.
Yeah, but still, this is the setting of this entire battle. That it's a team competition, and no one has really acted like that until Mimasaka. And now I just like that how everyone's so surprised at that.
I also hadn't really... The connection that I hadn't really made was the Aldini and Azon one, because Azon sent Subaru in to mess things up in the tournament, didn't he? In the autumn electionals. So yeah, this chapter sort of it made reference to that. So that was pretty neat.
Okay, so that was it. I was wondering what was that noodle incident behind Takumi's grudge against Azon.
Yeah.
I really need to reread early Food Wars, or I guess watch the anime finally.
Yeah, I think the anime was the last thing I dipped in on that, so it was a bit fresher in my memory.
Okay.
Also, I love Rindo's little reaction, like, yeah, Tsukasa's being, yeah, I'll pass tomorrow. No, I'm totally fine. I'll totally join.
And then just goes into hibernation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That explains why she was sleeping in that pose when they showed her.
Yeah. She's got a Chitoge bow like Mimasaka did.
Yeah, she does.
Okay. And also, even though we expected it, I kind of love the Azon's reaction to what? I won't be fighting Yukihira.
Yeah, he's just so salty about
he's
it.
Still bitter.
I'm hoping that this next round will bring us some more incredible Azon faces.
His faces were one of the best comedic reasons.
Yeah.
But we also see Shinomiya giving some more direct advice for the next round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I won't go through because I always just tune out whenever the cooking stuff comes up because I just realize I'm not going to get this.
Yeah, that for me is what the anime is for. I can just kind of, because I know what's going to happen, I can just kind of focus on the cooking stuff and just let it, like, play out.
I'm just waiting for Jonah to explain it all to me. Yeah.
Also, end page is Soma and the samurai guy whose name I still can't...
Saito. Wait,
Saito.
Some, yeah.
Some facing off in some sort of like samurai garb with swords in a field.
I love Rurouni Kenshin.
It's also come back this week, I think, hasn't it?
Yeah, I did see something about that.
Oh yeah, there's a new series by the there's a new Rurouni Kenshin series by the mangaka. I've only seen a few episodes of the anime for that, so I probably won't be checking it out. But yeah,
I haven't even read the original, so I'm gonna do it that first someday.
I've heard things of the mangaka's work since Kenshin having quite mixed results. Like one of them I have seen, which was Buso Renkin, which is a bit of a mediocre show. Like it's not awful, it's just a very every other shonen school manga ever kind of deal.
But I don't have much to say on this chapter since I'm not always the biggest fan of Shokugeki no Soma, and this one just didn't have anything that much to fire me up.
So
yeah, I thought it was generally fine.
I mean, it was good, just nothing special.
I will point out, I think the one thing that Food Wars does better than anyone else in Jump besides, like, if we're counting the English Jump, One Punch Man, is that it has really fantastic panel layout. Like, just the general way it's presented is always very cinematic and cool. So that's just always something that kind of gives me a base level of, okay, I enjoyed this chapter, okay, on that merits at least.
Yeah, the art and panel layout are great, and I'd say if this was a battle series with 2 sworn enemies, I would think it is fucking awesome, but there's just no connection between these two, so...
It's just the fact that it is a cooking manga that they sometimes, which is kind of meant to be a sports series, that they treat more like a battle series.
Yeah.
So speaking of school manga, as you've mentioned before, but now this segue doesn't work so good since you've moved on to another subject, My Hero Academia.
Yeah. I thought this chapter was generally pretty good. I do have one niggling thing, but I'll let you guys voice your opinions first.
This is the chapter where when I realized why, while I love Horikoshi's artwork, I generally find it difficult to read during the action scenes. It's when it does get to the action scenes, it really should be all in color, because just the way that that Horikoshi uses shading and all, it's really something that I like to see the action scenes better in the anime, since I know what's going on, and when we put all these expressive faces, all this shading together, it's kind of difficult.
He crams a lot into a small amount of space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially his sketchy, I'd say graffiti-like style can sometimes be hard to make out in black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big issue during the Stain fight, actually. At least early on in it, from what I recall.
So let's all agree. Hashtag give Horikoshi all the color pages.
Yeah, and then just clone him a few times so he has time to actually do them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon that the way that they'll end up beating him will be obviously through teaming up. I think it'll be a joint attack, kind of like with Stain, and I think this chapter is alluding to Toga playing a role in and twice as well.
Unless they're just doing the bitch move and going for the kill steal after all said and done.
That could be interesting. There is the one thing in this chapter that I was a bit saddened by, which I've been avoiding bringing this topic up because I wanted to save it till the end of the arc when we were sure. But I do feel like there is a certain panel which is just a nail in the coffin for Tsuyu Uraraka and the silver-haired girl getting a time in the spotlight, which is when he was like flashing back to all of the other people putting in their efforts, like, yeah, we need to do it for them, and it's like lumping them with Sun Eater, Red Riot, Fat Gum, Lemillion, when we haven't actually seen them do anything.
Yeah, I would have put that into it the moment they started a fight with Chisaki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have at least focused a bit on that fight and maybe use some enemies that Tamaki defeated in one go.
I guess in my head I was kind of comparing it to One Piece, which does have the main good guy start villains with the main bad guy before other people has finished their fights. Like, I think it was Eni's Lobby. Luffy's fight with Lucci starts off like pretty early on to when they're in the tower, but like it just kind of it goes on while Zoro, Sanji, and a bunch of the others have their fights. So that was what I was holding out hope on, pretty much.
And while Zoro is using his new sword, Meito Hana Arashi. The one with Usopp.
Yeah, also, does anyone else think that Rocklock's background motivation for why he was shitting on the kids is still bullshit?
I was really I was really thinking he was going to turn out to be Yakuza's spy or something. Still, despite his kind of weird motivation, I'm glad that we're getting a few pages focusing on him, since he's been getting a lot of lines throughout the arc. And I've been wondering, what was his deal?
Yeah, that is, it's nice to get him to focus, but he's like, I have a kid. So it doesn't matter. These guys are still kids, so I can't trust them.
Well, I can't trust my toddler to stop the Yakuza. So how can I trust UA students?
Anyway,
Also, I don't know how this is gonna go, but there is still Twice having some idea about what they're gonna do to the Yakuza. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens there.
I kind of skimmed through these pages. What are they basically saying?
Okay, I'll just read it out for you.
Okay.
Here. So, Twice says, in that case, I'm fresh on ideas, so lend me an ear. He's doing his whole say one thing, then say another immediately, bipolar. And Toga's just, what is it? And he starts to whisper for some reason, so that we don't hear. And then Toga's just, nice thinking, Jin. I'm sure Tomura will be quite pleased.
You know, cool. Though, as a wild card in this arc, I'm still kind of in two minds on whether they are an effective one, since.
Oh yeah, and there is also that part where they think like, regardless of the result, let's hope at the end of the battle, both the heroes and the Yakuza will be battered, bruised, and bleeding.
Okay, so
it could be like kind of a Kuma roll, I guess, of like once the fight's all done, they come in and like screw things over for the heroes.
Yeah, I guess that would be a cool thing for them to do. Although I think it might work better if we never saw him before. I don't know. Also, remind me, which one of the 8 bullets was Nemoto, and what kind of powers is Chisaki absorbing right now?
Wasn't it just that he makes you tell the truth?
Okay, so
Let me just check to be sure.
I can't.
Yeah, it is just that I make you tell the truth.
Okay, so how is fusing with him a power up?
I guess he's turned into like the Thing from the movie The Thing.
Okay. Oh, I guess so.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that form comes from absorbing that other guy. And even his mask seems to have somehow become his face.
Yeah, and now he can bond with Tokoyami. But yeah, but I really was thinking that it was gonna have to do something with the quirk of the person he's absorbing. So I don't know. So shall we move on to Black Clover?
Yeah, I'll just say that this was an okay chapter, but didn't really fire me up like the series has in the last few weeks.
I did. I forgot to mention it before, but I appreciated the little moments when Night Eye tells Lemillion that he's proud of him.
Yeah, that's a nice moment. And even, I think it's Chisaki saying, like, you truly are stronger than me, Lemillion.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so Black Clover, or as we usually call it, even though I'm calling it right now for the first time,
Milo's Timeout. I'm still waiting.
Oh man, I hope World Trigger comes back before like while we're doing these. Just because like it'll be interesting because I am the one person in the group who doesn't seem to like it quite as much. It'll be interesting to see how the discussion goes for that.
Caster doesn't
I
like
don't
it
like
either.
the series. I just think
Oh,
the series is generic shonen with nothing added to it.
What, this one or or World Trigger?
This one.
Okay.
Black Clover.
Yeah.
Where did
I
we
don't know.
start
I was just
talking World Trigger?
it had nothing to do. I don't know why. I just kind of brought it up. It had nothing to do with like the series. Please continue.
Okay then. You can just talk about World Trigger in the background.
Yeah, but the chapter we haven't had
Was
for...
I the only person that thought that the guy from Tamakoma?
Okay. So anyway, we have the conclusion to the fights of Team Asta versus Team Magda. And okay, so I have a few things in this chapter that I like. Firstly, I do like even though it may not be very clever, we do have elements of strategy. We have, I mean, by other manga standards, I mean, we have hiding the egg inside Soul's golem, which was kind of clever. We also have Mimosa, who really seems like a character I could get behind. You know, if we knew some more about her powers beforehand, because as it is now, we're kind of discovering her new powers as they go on, with each new matchup, we're discovering a new technique, which kind of is similar to what Mayuri did in Bleach. So,
Yeah, I don't think this is nearly as bad because we knew she has plant-based power. So just saying that when one of you uses Earth as a golem, you could plant your plants in that Earth. That just makes sense to me.
yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm happy for what we get with her, and
Yeah, the application is new, but it's still using established power. Well, how would I say, power category, on a way that, when you think about it, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's just the control that we didn't really know about, but no, I guess it makes sense. It's an Earth Golem. Yeah.
Few other things I didn't like as much were, among others, the fact that Magna got taken out by a single one of his attacks. Like one magic ball, and he's doing nothing for the entire rest of the chapter.
I guess we have to think that he's a glass cannon of sorts, that he's all attack and no defense.
Yeah, maybe, but it's just like, even he noted that they're not all that powerful. And secondly, I understand that he can put his traps in the air, apparently, Zerx Lugner, but just happened to be the place where Mimosa's brother came in through the air. That's some serious luck right there.
Okay, I also can't remember it, but we found out fake Zerx Lugner's name in the recent chapters. What was it?
Okay, you're not coming through here.
I'm saying that I can't remember it either, but we found out fake Zerx's name in the recent chapters, didn't we?
We did?
Yeah, I think so.
What chapter was that?
I think one of those that you guys covered while I was away. Not sure. Well, anyway.
Oh, Zora.
Oh, okay.
Someone said that name at least.
Okay.
Don't know if that is his name, but might be.
Yeah. Okay. So let's maybe call him Zora. So what's this whole deal leading to? What do you think? Because okay, he keeps. When he first was introduced, he said that he's come to this tournament to mock everyone participating in it, and then he kind of tells everyone how they can improve and what. Well, in a way that he's saying, "Oh, this is why you suck. This is why you suck." But in a way, he's giving them things to improve upon. So
Yeah, that part was pretty inconsistent in my eyes. As was that one thing that, even though earlier Mimosa's brother easily detected all the traps with his magic sense, here they just say, "Looks like you let your specialty slip." He let it slip, so he didn't notice this. Just hand wave it out like, "You let it slip."
okay.
That is a face palm worthy moment. Like, this guy deserves to lose if his specialty just doesn't work when it's convenient for the plot.
I'm just wondering. Maybe is he supposed to be some sort of a Magic Knight's agent that is just going to, or an inspector that is going to improve upon the Clover Kingdom's forces? Is he really a spy? Also, I would.
If that was the case, I don't think he would have needed to attack the real Zerxlugner. They could have just had Wizard King come to him and say, "Hey, you want to step in this out so we put this guy in for evaluation? Thanks."
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe I'm just wishing that this character was more interesting than he is.
Yeah, and I think the nicer he becomes, the more boring he becomes.
Oh, I didn't like him that much at first, but yeah, I don't really find him interesting now. I'm also getting disappointed that this is really the only thing that we're getting from Magna in this arc. The other Black Bulls seem to be a bit more developed than him, and he got this arc at the beginning. He got this cool moment with Luck, and okay, now he's out.
However, I do think next time might be interesting, since we're having Finral and his brother in a fight.
Oh yeah,
That's one of the matchups I've actually been looking forward to.
yeah. That's a chapter I am looking forward to, and Finral can do no wrong in this manga. Yeah, he's been consistently well characterized and interesting ever since his first appearance in the series. So yeah.
But if you got nothing else, shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move on to The Promised Neverland, chapter 55.
Okay, this chapter made me realize I have a very odd relationship with this series' tone.
Okay.
It's not bad, but like I'm often very thrown off by just how full throttle it is with the youthful optimism. Like it really pushes that angle to the nth degree, which always more than I expect it to. Because throughout this whole chapter, the whole thing was just, "Oh, we finally have warm water and baths, and we made it, and this is amazing." And it was just a bit overwhelming, like almost a bit sort of saccharine to me. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but yeah, that is something I've always never quite been able to put a finger on throughout this whole series, on whether the kind of the sort of the youthful shonen sort of we can do anything type attitude really worked for me, and the way it was executed.
I never really thought about it, but now that you say that, the situation that the children are in and the attitude that they retain, kind of, yeah, it kind of would be a bit better if you know they had a little less hope, like when they found out. Like when they found out, okay, there's really a small chance that you can reach the rest of the humanity in the human world. You really can't do it. But then Emma and even Ray. Emma I can understand because that's her character. But even Ray said, "Yeah, there is a chance we can do it. High five!"
Well, I'll say that this kind of chapter, if it happened right after the forest without Musica and Sanju in between, I think it would have worked better because this would be the moment of respite when they just have everything figured out for the time being. But with Sanju and Musica, they had relatively easy time. They haven't really hit the bottom that would call for this much respite.
Yeah. Also, I'm now with how goofy he's been at the beginning of this chapter and last chapter. I'm now calling the adult guy Mr. Thénardier.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I just want to.
I still like that they give explanations to how this place is going to keep running. Like, are they in safety? Or is this like, yeah, our generator and food supply are gonna run low in about a week, so we're still fucked.
No.
They show that while it is like they have to work for it, they can sustain this place for a long time, it seems. At least a few months.
Well, it seems that they do. They can actually hunt for animals outside, but
yeah,
yeah.
And I do like this one moment where one of the kids, can't remember which one since he's not one of the main ones, plays a piano that they find there.
Oh yeah, that's the Aoyama of this manga, as we've established. It's good that we're getting little bits and pieces of characterization in.
Not just that, but the kind of mood it creates, with them being in a place where they can actually have music.
Yeah. Cool.
Also, this chapter has one of the few times in manga where referring to someone as that man actually works, because they talk about what leads they have on Minerva, and they say that man, but they refer to a very specific man whose name they don't know yet. So what else are they gonna call him?
Mr. Thénardier.
Shut up.
Everyone in this is
Evil guy, crazy person.
I think that doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Also we have yeah, Emma has a new accessory in her clothes, and do the kids generally? Oh yeah, they generally get new clothes in general. So
yeah, they do. They mentioned that at one point.
And not that much of a change, but yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, except no, I can't tell from that part. Anyway, this was a good chapter, but I think it was misplaced.
Mm-hmm.
They should have had a little more hardship before they got to this point.
Well, maybe child pornography counts, because there's a lot of this in this chapter, as we've established before.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I'm going to say we will no longer talk about Promised Neverland in this podcast.
Aren't you kind of an expert? Aren't you
is-
kind of an expert given that you played Arashiyama?
What?
Aren't you kind of an expert given that you've played Arashiyama?
Hey, that was a role. I needed the money, which you never paid me.
Okay, so let's move on to We Never Learn. And Milo, I'm afraid you're going to have to relate to us exactly what happened in this chapter because we still can't read it.
Boy, and this was a spicy one, folks. So
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, no, I have strong feelings about this chapter.
Okay.
Because, basically, this chapter introduces a new girl. And I do not like her.
Is
at all.
is she a tsundere?
That is an element of it, yeah.
Okay.
She is the kind of tsundere who's just like, know your place. I'm older than you. Show some respect. And like, just the first thing you see of her is, okay, basically, Yuika's going to a cram school, and she is one of the students there. And like, her whole gimmick is, oh, she looks like she's in like middle school. She looks really young and sort of petite, but she's actually his senior. And like, she's retaking her last year, I think. And so she's just kind of being a bitch to him in class, but she also helps him study, so I guess that's nice of her. He lets her eat some of his lunch, and yes, and so they just kind of have a little interaction. And to be fair, I don't actually hate this chapter because they do sort of bring they do have a conversation about how people just kind of go to cram school and think, okay, well, at least I'm attending, so I'll be fine. But no, you have to actually put the work in, which was quite nice. It ties into the overall sort of, this show is all about studying and achieving the good results, and touching on stuff like that is always nice. But then at the end of the chapter, he is escorted by two people promoting a maid cafe against his will into a maid cafe. And just as he's about to leave, the girl he met in the class pops out, and she's like, I'm Ashumi, the pixie maid. And they're like, what are you doing here? And, oh, I hate this new girl so much. She's just a combination of things I don't like.
Oh dear. So it looks like Castor is finally gonna have someone in this manga that looks 12.
Yay! Yeah. I mean, this series had to get a trash tier girl at some point. It's just sad that it had to happen.
Yeah. Oh dear, oh dear. So, yeah, you've talked about your experiences in a maid cafe, right?
Oh, did I do that on stream?
No, I think you did that in a private voice chat.
Off the record.
Tell it to Greil. I don't think he's heard it.
Basically, I was on a trip to Japan. It was just like a thing to do on a year off. I'd saved up the money for it, and I screwed up on my last flight, so had to rebook for an extra day. So I had an extra day where I was just in Tokyo, and so I was just so I just decided, screw it, I'll try out one of these maid cafe larks, and it was one of the most like traumatizing experiences of my life. The whole thing was really overpriced. Like, they charge you flipping loads. In fact, they joke in this thing about how, he tries to get out, but the owner of the place it gives him a seating charge of 1,000 yen for the hour. And like, no, I totally believe that they do that. They are really money grubbing.
Wow.
And it's also just really weird to have like a real life person just kind of act all Genki in front of you. Like, I'm used to seeing an anime character act that way, but seeing a real-life person do it is surreal. She also made me wear these weird, cat ears. Wouldn't let me eat any of my food until I did, like, these weird little dance chant things.
I remember. I was supposed to put cat ears on your avatar for Stammer screen.
Yes, you were. God. Yeah. The weirdest thing is, you'd expect, like, the rest of the people in the place to just be, like, creepy old dudes. No, there were, like, couples there. There were, like, other tourists.
I can get it if it was tourists who just wanted to see what the hell that's about.
Yeah, I think that was
Also, I believe that place, I would never go there.
Yeah.
For one single reason.
You have dignity?
I'm cheap as hell.
Oh.
I do not pay for something if I have a cheaper alternative.
Right. I think I'd maybe recommend it if you were with a friend and wanted to really embarrass each other.
And they were paying.
Yeah.
All right then. So, shall we move on to Dr. Stone?
Let's. This is a chapter I do want to talk about.
All right, go ahead.
So, Dr. Stone, chapter 27. Is the title here somewhere? Yeah, one scientist's dream. Which, well, this confirms what I suspected last week because it was flipping obvious. The one to try murder again was Magma.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of okay. And
Evil.
yeah, he's kind of
Yeah.
evil, and he looks like an interesting opponent to go against at this stage in the manga.
Yeah, and I said that I thought that him killing, it was Gen, him trying to kill Gen was leading on from the whole situation with the father. That was my prediction, and it is, but not in the way that I was expecting. I assumed that the dad has sent him after them because he was fed up of having these people in the village, when it was more related to this tournament.
Yeah,
Tournament
he just wanted to make
talk.
sure that there isn't a wizard there to kill him.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as a warrior fighter, he probably has a shit will save, so one whole person in that match would be over.
Also, I think just like maybe I'm just a sucker for this, but I just can't help but root for Chrome to get that panacea and maybe start a thing with Rory.
Oh,
Yeah, but also, I do love one joke, like, they think, like, bro, for Kohaku, a woman to have such extraordinary strength, it must be, without a doubt, the work of sorcery. Not at all. I'm a natural.
Yeah.
Natural gorilla.
Oh.
Yeah, they even think, like, yeah, couldn't be a woman that strong. Yes, I am. But
it's
I do not like Magma as a villain, just for this series, since he is so one-dimensionally evil. But so far, we haven't had a villain like this. Like, even so far, Tsukasa thinks he's doing the right thing, even if he is going about it with murder and all that. And even to the degree this village has been so far, it's more of the fear of outsiders and whatever Senku's doing, because to a Stone Age man, it might look pretty fucking scary.
I did really like the scene when Kohaku just goes up to Kinro and Ginro and just goes, "What do you think of my big sister? Would you like to marry her?" And then
they are such a
Ginro.
great duo.
Yeah.
I fucking adore them.
Ginro is me. Kinro is a guy with actual respect.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I love this moment for Kinro.
Yeah.
Since he's finally coming out like, I know Senku's not evil. I understand what's going on. So get on with it. I'll help you.
Yeah. It's
So,
fantastic,
Riz just-
and even though we know that they're probably not gonna stand a chance against Magma, it's really gonna be interesting in getting a few hits on him in the tournament arc.
Yeah. And even Kohaku does mention, like, I know you'd like to train, but right now, with the game's only a month away, only these two actually have a chance to help. You're just way too weak. And then Senku just rubs it in because, well, he's Senku and he doesn't do people.
And then we have this beautiful half-page spread of Chrome, and he's such a precious little boy, and he needs to be protected.
He is.
Yeah, and showing that he's really good, guys. Since all he wants to make sure Rory's happy and he can cure her. And even stops calling himself a sorcerer, going into scientist.
Yeah, he is very precious. I will say, I can't believe it completely flew over my head that they would make glass and that they had just been using earthenware so far. So that was a cool element to bring in. And I do wonder how that's gonna play a role in why they can take off Suika's mask now. Like,
Yeah. I have a guess, but that's only because I'm pretty sure it wouldn't work that way, that I'm not going to commit to it. But I just figured, like, Suika doesn't see well, so they'd make glasses for her. But I'm pretty sure that requires some precise working with the angle of the lenses and such.
Oh, okay.
And
So-
I'm not sure Senku would be capable of doing that, since I'm not sure how well he does medicine, especially for eyesight.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
Senku
What
has
about-
been the kind of scientist that usually gets portrayed in media. He's an expert in everything, every field of science. So I wouldn't put it past him.
Oh, why haven't I recommended this to my friend who's obsessed with scientist characters? I'm gonna do that now. She'd love this.
But I do like that final panel of Senku just happily popping off Suika's helmet and Chrome's reaction.
What are you doing?
He's acting like Senku had just pressed the dislodge nukes at our location button.
This is the moment. Okay, no! You're gonna rip the head off. It's like Gaiman from One Piece. Okay, if you put him out of the
box.
chest, he's gonna die.
Yeah, except the head comes off easy. But yeah, unless Suika turns out to be an eldritch abomination to whose, well, her face, just staring at her face will just destroy your mind. I don't think it's worthy of that face, but I do think it's funny.
Oh, maybe she's a descendant of Medusa. Maybe just looking at her face will turn you into stone, and that's how the new Stone Age came about. Brilliant, right?
Sure, let's go with that if it makes you feel good.
So, do we have anything else to say, or shall we finish things up?
I think that
Yeah,
wraps
I'll
up
just
with-
say that I love this chapter, like I do for most chapters of
Yeah,
Doctor Who.
it's just a
Aside
very
the fact that Magma is just a one-note villain who's just I'm evil.
It is just
I don't
such a
really
consistent
mind
hit.
it since he's more of an obstacle to overcome. Really the arc here is Senku winning the trust of the villagers, and this is just a side note. So yeah, I like where this is going. I'm looking forward to the tournament arc, and God, we'll have 3 tournament arcs running at the same time in the series we recap. Do you realize that?
Wow.
Well,
Hold on, what's the other one besides Food Wars?
Yeah, I was
Black Clover.
Oh, right.
Oh right. Yeah, I just forgot that bland stuff.
So
But
yeah. Shall we finish things up?
All
yeah,
right.
let's.
So, that is gonna do it for this week of Summer Stream. Thank you all for watching, either on my YouTube channel or live at twitch.tv/Wensleydale Cheddar. We usually try to record on Tuesdays at noon Eastern Standard Time, 5 PM GMT and 6 PM GMT +1. You can follow me on Twitter at Winsley Cheddar for updates on the stream, on Penganter, World Triggered, Friendly Faces Everywhere, Iffy Reviews, and many other projects. Follow Milo at Hovin with an H for anime waifus, Cabal Hijinks, Cabalcast, which is definitely coming, guys, and Trial by Guilty Crown, a podcast he does with Castor. Follow Greil at Nuclear Android for gaming tweets and World Conquest. And be sure to visit our One Piece RP forum, One Dream Adventure Reborn, to write some lovely stories with us and talk about manga in general. otar.com/forums.com is the address. So, how shall we resolve our conflict, Greil? I have my apple, and I'm willing to take a bite. What is your move?
I'm going to wait until you take a bite and then just win by default after you blow yourself up. I mean, if you're gonna kill yourself, I don't think I need to make a move.
Alright then. Once again, cheers for watching, and we will see you next week. Take care.
Except him, since he's gonna explode and all.
Ah!